What's up, everybody? I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA, and I'm back with a little bit more tough love that you might not like, but I think you need to hear. Guys, I am just gonna give it to you straight. When it comes to your work, when it comes to your career, you need to do one thing. Not two things, not three things, one thing. Now, I know a lot of you guys have a ton of interests and passions, and that's great. I genuinely love that. But the reality is that you need to focus on doing one and only one thing and then becoming incredibly great at that thing. So if you're one of these people who says like you're a graphic designer and you want to write a novel and you also like direct music videos, whatever, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, bad idea. You need to pick one. My intent here is not to rain on the parade, like shit in your dreams, none of that. It's just that I want you guys to be successful, and I see a lot of you guys struggling because you aren't focusing on just one thing. So let me break it down for you how all this works in my opinion. Thing number one, in order to stand out, you need to be really, really good. Creative fields are super competitive. There's a lot more supply than demand. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of people fighting for what is honestly a pretty small number of slots. Like, say you want to design the cover art for your favorite band's next album. Well, how many other people would you say probably also want to do that project? Well, I bet it's a lot, right? Which means that in order to have a shot at being the one person who gets the job, you need to be really, really good, because they can choose from a ton of people to work with, and of course, they're gonna choose the very best, right? Thing number two, it is almost impossible to be truly excellent at more than one thing. Getting really good at even one creative field is hard as hell, right? Like, you've heard the whole 10,000 hours thing, that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. And you know, whether that's the exact number or not, I don't know, whatever, it's kind of beside the point. The point is that it takes years of work, of putting in hours and hours every single day for years to become truly excellent at any kind of like creative discipline. So if it takes 5 years to get really good at, say, like graphic design, but you're also doing music and video and writing and this, you're talking like decades of work to become really excellent at all those things. Which means that you're probably going to end up being average to crappy at all of them. Like, yeah, you're gonna do a lot of stuff, but you're not gonna be very good at any of those things, and that's gonna hold you back. Like, let's go back to my hypothetical example of a band looking for somebody to do their album cover artwork. Are they gonna wanna work with somebody who's like okay at a bunch of stuff, who's like decent at design, photography, video, writing? No. They want to work with someone who is bad fucking ass at designing album covers. So knowing all of that, your goal should not be to dabble in 5 things. It should be to become world class in one thing, because that is how you're going to stand out. That is how you are going to build the career that I think you guys want. Number 3, people know that it is almost impossible to be excellent at more than one thing, which means they're probably not going to take you seriously if you claim to be great at a bunch of stuff. Like, nobody experienced is going to believe you if you say you're an artist and a novelist and you make short films and you're also developing a video game. Like, basically, they're gonna think you're full of shit and delusional because they know that there's just nobody who's world class at all those different things. Take even things that are pretty similar, like say design and photography. How many people can you think of who are actually getting paid to do both of those things at a high level? Like, as one example, a lot of people who I talk to, they want to play music and they also want to do some other creative thing, and they want to be successful at both. Now, I can only think of 2 people in my kind of general circle who have done that. One is Jake from Converge, 2 is Ryan Clark from Demon Hunter. That's it. Now, I'm sure there's some other people that I'm not thinking of that I don't know, but the point is, the number of people who have pulled that off is not like hundreds or thousands. It's a number that you can count on 1 or 2 hands. And let's be real, we are not as freakishly talented as the guys I just mentioned, so for us, being successful at one thing is hard enough. Thing number 4, marketing yourself in more than one area is a whole other challenge. Like, even if you're actually good at more than one thing, that doesn't mean you're automatically gonna get paid to do all those different things, right? So you are going to need to be marketing yourself in several different areas at once, which, as you're probably already thinking, is fucking hard. Think about it. If you're working in, say, 3 different fields, each of these is going to require a different network of potential clients, because the people who will pay you to do design are not the same people who are going to hire you to like make music videos or write an article or anything else. So not only do you have to build multiple creative skill sets, which is really hard, you've also got to build multiple networks. And yeah, they may overlap a little bit, but realistically, you're like doubling or tripling the amount of work that you're going to need to do in terms of marketing yourself. Thing number 5, people won't know what to do with you. And this is the part I've never heard anybody think or talk about, but it's actually a huge problem. Basically, people are lazy. They want you to fit neatly into one of the existing categories they have in their brain, like marketing guy, personal trainer, video director, you know, whatever it is. And when you position yourself as anything other than one of those categories, you're basically asking people to do the mental work of taking a step back, assessing who you are, what you do, and then figuring out how they might potentially work with you. And like I said, people are lazy. So if you don't fit into one of those existing categories, they're basically going to put you in the category of, I don't know what the hell this guy or girl does. And as you can probably guess, that's not a good thing. You do not want to be in that category. I know this because I ended up there, and this was a massive problem for me that I totally did not see coming at all and definitely held me back. I've done a lot of stuff in my career. Like, I was a creative director for a magazine. I worked at a product design agency that designed stuff for Febreze and Swiffer. I used to do web development work back in the PHP and MySQL days. I designed t-shirts for Hollister. I did marketing for Abercrombie & Fitch. I've written for like some outlets like Terrorizer, Metal Sucks, Substream, some other stuff. And I also did marketing for a company called Creative Live, where I did stuff with some bands you may have heard of, like Seosin, Dillinger Escape Plan, Converge, a bunch of other ones. And all of that is cool stuff that I'm proud of, but you can probably already kind of see the problem. Like, when I go down that list, it's probably hard for you to understand, like, process exactly what I do. Like, am I a designer, a writer, a marketer, creative director? And I've also worked in a bunch of different industries, from consumer goods to apparel to music, that basically have nothing to do with each other. So what's up with that? Like, how are you sitting across the table from me supposed to process that? So when I would apply for jobs, or I would try to put together a portfolio, this was a big problem, because like I said earlier, you don't want people to have to figure out what to do with you, because that is adding cognitive load for them, and they're basically not going to do it. They're going to go, wow, man, that sounds really cool. Like, you know, you've done a lot of cool shit, but I don't really know what we would do with you. So, like, unless you fit into one of those slots, like I didn't, you are just going to get ignored. Now, I know this feels limiting. I know a lot of you guys are going to push back on this, but trust me, you want people to be able to instantly slot you into one of those existing, like, mental categories. You want people to go, that's Jenny, she's a designer. That's Mike, he's a front-end developer, whatever. Like, this is going to make your life way easier. Okay, guys, I've gone on long enough about this, so I'm going to cut it off here. But again, my advice is to focus on one thing, and probably even just one industry. And once you crush it at that one thing, then you can think about branching out, but that's a long time in the future. For now, just focus on one thing. Okay, guys, I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA. If you enjoyed this, I would love it if you would like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tag a friend, whatever. Anything else you can do to help spread the word would be much appreciated. So with that, I'm gonna sign off, and I will see you next time.